This is the luxury world. Get inspired with us today and tomorrow. In the early months of 2022, the global luxury watch market reached an unprecedented level of speculation. Stainless steel Rolex models, once admired for their engineering precision and timeless design, were suddenly trading at prices that defied logic. The Rolex GMT Master 2, particularly the red and blue Pepsi bezel edition, became the centerpiece of a financial spectacle. Prices soared beyond $35,000, a level that reflected not intrinsic value, but a speculative fever gripping collectors and investors alike. What began as admiration for craftsmanship evolved into one of the most intense financial bubbles in modern horology. This frenzy, however, was short-lived. The very forces that inflated the bubble also ensured its collapse. The story of the Rolex Pepsi boom and its abrupt downfall reveals the dangers of financial euphoria and the delicate balance between exclusivity and speculation in the luxury world. The Rolex GMT Master was never intended as a luxury symbol. Introduced in 1954, it emerged from a collaboration between Rolex and Pan American Airways. The airline's pilots required a timepiece capable of displaying multiple time zones during transcontinental flights. Rolex responded by creating a functional innovation: an additional 24-hour hand, and a rotating bezel marked in two contrasting colors to distinguish day from night hours. The model's design was instantly practical yet distinctive. The red and blue bezel gave it a bold appearance that would later earn the nickname Pepsi. For decades, it served as a professional instrumental pilot's companion design for navigation, not notoriety. However, over time, the watch transcended its utilitarian origins, becoming a cultural emblem of sophistication and success, a subtle symbol of global mobility and refined taste. The transition of the GMT Master 2 from tool watch to investment asset was not accidental. It was the result of a deliberate strategy that harnessed controlled scarcity. Despite producing approximately 1 million watches annually, Rolex carefully regulates the distribution of its most desirable references. Stainless steel sports models, particularly the Pepsi variant, are supplied to authorized dealers in extremely limited numbers. This scarcity is reinforced by an opaque system of allocation. Authorized dealers act as gatekeepers, determining who is deemed worthy of a purchase. Access to coveted models is rarely achieved through a simple waiting list. Instead, it often requires substantial spending on lower demand items, such as jewelry or precious metal pieces. Clients who demonstrate loyalty through repeated purchases are granted access to high-demand watches. The pricing trajectory during this period staggered. Around 2020, the Rolex GMT Master 2 Pepsi traded on the secondary market for approximately $18,000. By late 2021, the price had climbed to $28,000, and by early 2022, it peaked at nearly $35,000, representing more than a 215% premium above its retail price of roughly $11,100. At that point, market fundamentals no longer applied. The watch was being valued not for its craftsmanship or historical importance, but for its speculative potential. The sense of urgency, or fear of missing out, drew in even more buyers, many of whom were unaware of how fragile the market truly was. The reversal was sudden and severe. The first blow came from monetary tightening. As global central banks raised interest rates to combat inflation, access to cheap capital diminished. The speculative energy that had driven luxury purchases began to evaporate. The cryptocurrency crash of 2022 further accelerated the downturn. A significant portion of the luxury market had been fueled by crypto wealth. When digital assets lost billions in value, so did demand for high-end goods. The luxury watch sector, especially the Rolex market, felt the impact immediately. Then, in late 2022, Rolex took decisive action. The introduction of the Certified Pre-Owned program marked a turning point. Through this initiative, Rolex authorized select retailers to sell verified pre-owned watches with official certification. This allowed the brand to re-enter the resale market, recapture profits, and reassert control over pricing and authenticity, areas previously dominated by independent gray market dealers. Simultaneously, Rolex announced plans for a massive new production facility, signaling future expansion of manufacturing capacity. The implication was clear: extreme scarcity would not last indefinitely. Speculators quickly realized that their perceived exclusivity might soon diminish. The emotional pivot was instant. The euphoric momentum turned into panic selling, and secondary prices began to fall sharply. Behind the numbers lie real stories of financial loss. Online watch forums became filled with testimonials from buyers who entered the market during the height of the boom. One individual reportedly paid 28,000 Singapore dollars for a GMT Master 2, only to witness its resale value drop to $16,000 by 2025, a loss exceeding 40% in just 3 years. Such cases illustrate the inherent risk of treating luxury goods as speculative investments. Watches are, by nature, illiquid assets, subject to trends, sentiment, and brand strategy. When market enthusiasm replaces intrinsic appreciation, values can collapse as quickly as they rise. The new market reality. By 2025, the speculative frenzy will have largely subsided. The Rolex Pepsi now trades at around $23,000 on the secondary market, far below its peak but still reflecting a strong premium over retail. This new price range represents a sustainable equilibrium between collector demand and available supply. While the days of rapid price inflation are gone, the model's enduring desirability remains intact. The correction effectively purged opportunistic flippers from the ecosystem and restored balance. The GMT Master 2 has once again become a watch to wear and appreciate, not merely an instrument of profit. This recalibration signals a maturing phase for the luxury watch market. The frenzy demonstrated that unchecked speculation could erode authenticity, but it also reaffirmed the strength of Rolex as a brand. Even after the bubble burst, the Pepsi maintained a considerable premium, proving that its appeal extends beyond financial hype. The Rolex Pepsi phenomenon serves as a mirror reflecting broader economic behavior. Whether in watches, art, or real estate, tend to repeat the same cycle: enthusiasm, speculation, overvaluation, and correction. Scarcity breeds desire, desire fuels speculation, and speculation inevitably leads to collapse when reality intervenes. The illusion of perpetual appreciation was shattered, revealing the core truth of luxury. True value lies in craftsmanship, heritage, and emotion, not in resale profit. A Rolex is more than an asset, it is a symbol of precision, durability, and timeless design. Even after correction, the premium over retail prices for stainless steel Rolex models is unlikely to disappear. The brand's global recognition, meticulous control of production, and iconic status ensure persistent demand. However, the psychology surrounding ownership has changed. The modern buyer is more informed, more cautious, and increasingly focused on long-term value rather than short-term gain. Authorized dealers continue to manage allocations, but the transparency of the pre-owned market has introduced accountability. Collectors now differentiate between watches held for passion and those pursued for speculation. This distinction marks a cultural shift within the luxury community. The aftermath of the bubble has, paradoxically, strengthened the watch industry. Genuine collectors have re-emerged as the foundation of market stability. Discussions have shifted away from profit margins toward design, innovation, and horological history. The Rolex GMT Master 2 Pepsi endures not as a speculative asset, but as a modern classic, a piece that bridges the golden age of aviation with the digital era of global travel. Its value now reflects what it was always meant to represent: a celebration of engineering, artistry, and timeless functionality. The Rolex Pepsi bubble of 2022 stands as one of the most significant cautionary tales in luxury watch history. It exposed how quickly the pursuit of prestige can devolve into financial mania, and how rapidly the market corrects when speculation overtakes substance. Today, the market has returned to equilibrium. The frenzy has faded, but the fascination remains. The Rolex Pepsi continues to command respect not because it promises profit, but because it symbolizes endurance, testament to the idea that true luxury never depends on hype. In the refined world of horology, trends rise and fall, but authenticity prevails. The story of the Rolex Pepsi is not merely about prices or losses. It is about rediscovering what makes a timepiece extraordinary. Beyond speculation and beyond scarcity, the GMT Master 2 remains what it has always been: a timeless companion for those who value legacy over leverage. What are your thoughts on the Rolex Pepsi we shared in this video? We would appreciate it if you let us know by leaving a comment and giving it a thumbs up. Do not forget to follow our channel for more content. Once again, this is the luxury world, and we look forward to having you join us in our upcoming videos.